There you guys are, sideways, but you're there.
Hey.
Is this okay for our camera?
Is this orientation the other way?
If you guys could turn it, you're 90 degrees clockwise,
All right.
counterclockwise rather. There you go.
Pow. Look at
Bam.
that. All right, we're gonna have to sit next
Yeah,
to each
hold
other
on.
more. Hold on a second. I think you can push it out. Our bad. We haven't done a Zoom in a minute.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I've got my afternoon planned for you guys, so I'm not even worried about it.
Wow, something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you gotta turn it though. It's look cricket. Just a little
Wow,
bit. There we
wow.
go. Look at that. We figured it out.
No
Somewhat.
worries, no worries. There you guys go.
Something like that.
Something like this. There we go.
Oh, welcome, welcome. And so, you're Brian, or do you guys have stage names you prefer? Or
Oh, Roseblood Thorn Black.
okay, awesome, awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys, you're in New York City, you said.
Yeah.
That's right.
And was it you two that were in the circus acts and everything before going to music?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains the theatrics and everything you guys are into with the music videos. I honestly, one of your videos popped up in my feed, and I'm like, I've never heard of these guys. Oh my god, I have to talk to them. It was
Yeah.
the music was awesome, but me personally, I love the theatrics of it. That's what hooked me. I mean, immediately.
Awesome.
And
Love to hear that. I love the theatrics myself.
yeah, yeah, I'm a big. I'm not to start this off bad to be one talking, but when I go to a show, or if I want to see, if I'm going to be entertained by somebody, entertain me. You know, if
I
it's
agree.
especially if I'm going to come to your show, if I'm going to pay to park, I'm going to spend the time coming out. Don't just stand there and do your song. I can sit at home and do that for free, man.
Right?
Exactly. For that, I'll just pop the CD in. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly, exactly.
For me, it's
But
always been the larger than life characters that have drawn me in anything like on stage or on TV or the big over to the top characters. I'm like, yes.
yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And that's like I said, you guys, as soon as you popped up in my feed, I mean, I think I was 10, 20 seconds into your video, and I'm like, I got to see these shows. I mean, just you guys pulled me. I didn't jump down. You guys like literally pulled me down a rabbit hole. It's pretty awesome.
yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I have a lot of questions to ask you guys.
Shoot.
Uh, and so I'm just gonna dive right in here, man.
Yeah.
I've
Go for it.
been writing a lot to ask you guys. So if someone had never heard of you guys before, what movie would they need to watch in order to understand your music? You guys are horrorcore and
Oh.
everything, so
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see.
Interesting
What
question.
movie would you have to see in order to understand
Uh,
us? Oh man.
I would see. Well, I'm gonna give an explanation on why I'm picking this movie. Also,
Okay. Okay.
so I'm gonna pick a movie like Van Helsing because this movie has multiple big bads in it. We have
mhm,
Frankenstein, we have vampires, and the brides of of Dracula, as
mhm.
well as we have isn't it like a Wolfman or a mummy or something? There's like three big
Yeah, there's a
iconic.
couple of different ones. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I say I picked that because we oftentimes there are topics of like horror themes or horror movies or monsters. We have a song about a werewolf, we have a song about a vampire, we have lots of you have a song about a ghost.
Yeah,
So because of that and because of how Van Helsing captures multiple big bads and not just one, and that's kind of like how we kind of pick and choose some of our songs somewhat.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say maybe something like that. What do you think?
I like it. I
You
like
like
it.
it?
Yeah, I think that fits pretty
It's
well.
like the reasoning behind it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I think I would pick, let's see. I'd pick something freaking bonkers. Let me think. Brand new cherry flavor. That's what I would pick. I don't know if you've seen it.
no, never heard of it.
Brand new cherry flavor is an incredibly surreal series that's about a filmmaker, and it becomes this whole revenge plot. There's death, sex, and kittens in it. It's really wild. It was on
I think
Netflix.
it's a
Yeah,
Netflix,
it's
like
on Netflix.
a limited series on Netflix.
Yeah.
I will have to. I know what I'm watching this afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
I think you'll really dig it. It's very like a little Cronenberg, a little David Lynch, it just gets super weird. It gets very surreal very quickly.
I think it's like one of
There's
those
like
kind
some
of
body horror in it. There's like there's body horror, there's comedy, there's sexiness. It gets insanely, it has one of the weirdest sex scenes ever in it. It gets really, really strange.
It's a really odd show. It's like
I love it.
It's like a gem of a horror thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, what is happening and where did this come from? And then it's over.
Yeah.
You know? But I like it because it's like a limited series, so it's almost like kind of like a season, but it's supposed to be done and over after just the one, you know, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So that being said, because you mentioned, my mind went in several different directions when you said Van Helsing. So the way you're talking about it, I'm assuming the Hugh Jackman one.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a few. I've seen a few
You're
Van
right. There
Helsings
are
over the
many
years.
things that have the Van Helsing name on it for sure.
Now, you also mentioned the different songs you have. I'm just curious, is there like a underlying universe, or other than the horror core, is there like an underlying universe or meaning behind the songs that means something to you guys, that ties them all together for you? Or is it just kind of, hey, we haven't done this yet?
No, it's more, I don't really consciously choose what my songs are going to be about necessarily. It just tends to it just tends to be whatever is inspired. So there's not an underlying connectivity between the songs necessarily. It's more, each one of them is a little standalone story, you know, and the overarching idea behind the first album was the monsters within and the monsters outside, and which one is scarier. You know what I mean? And to me, I do believe that the monsters that are inside of us are far scarier than the monsters that, like an actual monster to me is comforting somehow, because it is clear what it is. It's clear what the threat is. That's why I love like creature features and stuff like that. It's like, nice, clear, I think that especially in our kind of dystopian world that we're living in right now, there are some people that are, billionaires that are monsters. You know what I mean? There's people that are just like out in the open, everyday, normal looking people that are freaking monsters.
But you can't tell because they have a human suit on.
Yeah, they got their human suit on.
Yeah.
And so it's to me, it's that contrast of like, oh, I actually find a comfort and safety in these monster movies because it is very clear, what the bad guy is. You know what I mean? And in real life, that's not necessarily the case. And I have definitely been burned and written songs about being burned by, trusting in someone that you thought was X and they turned out to be Y. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to go into it, but trust me, I'm very familiar with
that.
that.
Yeah. That's why I wrote the song "Fake Friend," and it was very much out of a real thing that happened, and even The Sky is Falling. The Sky is Falling, in the video, the enemy is a monster, you know what I mean? It's death, you know what I mean? But at the same time, in real life, like the op was also death, like for real. And it was like being able to portray it in that way in the video, in this very symbolic idea. It was very much like this chess game between, it was something that I actually saw play out in real life. Here was this person who was fighting for their life and doing everything that they could do, and they still couldn't win, and it's like the unfairness of that, the feeling of like, why are there all these other terrible people out in the world and not this wonderful person? You know what I mean?
My papa growing up, my grandma would yell at him all the time. She's like, nice guys always finish last. And he would just laugh and shake his head and say, no, 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 I'm just making sure everybody else gets across the finish line too. And it's like that, like you're saying, these people, there's horrible people out there that just seem to prosper regardless of their decisions and or morality compass.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You
And
know, so
unfortunately,
definitely
Mhm.
yeah,
the
I
injustice
get it.
of that is
Yeah.
infuriating, and I feel the need to scream, and it makes me happy to know that, you know, other people can kind of get there. You know, when we perform live,
Mhm,
The Sky is Falling, I always have a little speech I tell people before I sing it, because
mhm,
I'm like, if you see me cry, that's for real. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sorry if I like miss lines or anything in this particular song, because it's just simply that hard for me to
mhm.
sing. But I still feel compelled to sing it because I feel that even though I've gotten past that moment in time, that there are plenty of people out there surely that must have felt the same thing, you know?
Oh,
And of our songs, that is the one that consistently the most people after the show will ask me, you know, will come up to me and talk to me about that one specifically. They're like, I love
Mhm.
all your other songs and this was an amazing show, but this one made me cry. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and it's like, I think sometimes we all just need a good cry, man. You know, sometimes it's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
best thing to just get it all out.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I have my anger song, Nine Inch Nails, Head Like a Hole. If
Yeah.
I'm playing that, my wife knows just to leave me alone for a minute. I'm having my therapy session, screaming, doing some primal screams to some Head Like a Hole. So
Hell
trust me,
yeah.
I get it. I get it.
You
We're all
made
human.
me think of my first Nine Inch Nails album.
Mine too. Mine too. I picked that up in uh, I picked that up in 1990, 1991, I think.
Mhm.
God, that's a long time ago. Um, wow. That's so. I'm just curious. When did you guys get in? I mean, obviously, working with the circus and doing acrobats and stuff, you've always been into show business of some form or another. I'm just curious, what pulled you into the horror scene? What how old were you, and what pulled you into that?
Well, actually, we were in music before this band.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Oh,
how
okay.
we met actually.
We had a band together that was also a horror themed band.
Mm,
And it was actually after that band ended, and we found ourselves in like this kind of in between space in our careers.
mhm.
That's actually when we decided to do circus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, so we did circus for
Mhm.
years after that, and it was circus was running away and joining the circus was absolutely my coping mechanism for dealing with like breaking up with our old band,
Mhm,
and just, you know, wanting to start a new direction, feeling kind of lost and adrift because that was a project that I had put so much of myself into and so much of my life into from the time when I was like 16. I think I started that band when I was 16 years old. So it was like a long time of this one thing that I had poured like everything into, you know, all of my artwork, everything was just focused on that.
mhm,
And then it was just like, oh no, like who am I now that I'm not this?
mhm,
And I had taken some circus classes recreationally, and then we got asked by those people that had that recreational school, they started a more professional school,
mhm,
and they contacted us and they said, come to this um, student showcase. We want to
mhm,
show you what our students can do, because I know that you were just in our recreational program, but I think
mhm,
that you guys have what it takes to be a professional. I think, you know, you guys are really hard workers. Come and see what we teach, you know?
mhm.
And we were like, okay, let's do it. You know, why not? Why not take a chance?
Right.
And we fell in love with the circus that night. Like it
Mhm.
was over. It was done and dusted. We became circus acrobats. We were like, we will do whatever it takes. I was literally like scrubbing like the mats and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know
same
what I mean?
here,
Like,
doing work
you
study,
know, doing
whatever.
work study.
Cut down that tuition. That was a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
pricey.
just to pay for circus school and just to learn from these incredibly talented people.
Mhm.
We had teachers that were from like Cirque du Soleil. You know what I mean? We had
Wow.
we had Olympic athletes come in
Mhm.
and teach
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
You know, they were it was an incredible it was a place called Circus Warehouse.
Mm,
It was our home. It was our home. We loved that place so much. Um and it was something really special, and I
mhm,
don't think that anything can ever replace the awesomeness
Yeah.
of that memory for us. You know what I mean?
That was a really unique experience. Like, for real.
Like every time you open the door to this building, it was like it was like one person was here doing handstands, one person is here on a trapeze, one person is here bouncing on a trampoline, one person is walking on a wire, one person is flying on a trapeze, getting caught by somebody else. You know what I mean? Like it was wild what you never knew
Where is this
when you
at?
opened the door. It was in
This was in
Queens.
Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Long Island City.
I
So
got to
right
get up
by
to New
the
York at some
water.
point. My goodness, I got to get up there and talk to these people about photographing something. I mean,
Oh man, they don't exist anymore, unfortunately.
oh,
Unfortunately, but there are many. There still are
There's some other
some
circus
new
spaces
circus
here.
schools that
Yeah.
are here in
really?
New York City
Hmm.
that can be checked out and people can be talked to and stuff. So if you ever want to do that, don't worry about it. We can definitely connect you with
Yep, point you in
somebody.
the right direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
circus world is small.
I,
Most people know each other. You know what I mean? Like in some, even if you don't know that person, you know somebody who knows that person. You know what I
so
mean?
it's
Because
definitely
like
like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing. So
yeah. But it's much more accessible and attainable. Like once
gotcha.
you become part of the circus world, you know, you just be like, oh, I trained with so and so and da da da, and I trained here and I performed there, and they'll be like, oh, cool, I know, you know, blah blah blah. It's like even though it's a big world, it's a small world.
Yeah, the circus
Yeah,
world is not as, especially in, I feel like in America, it's not as big.
yeah,
It's like once you're in the scene, you start end up knowing a lot of the people. And like she said, if you don't know that person, you've heard of them or seen them online because of
Hmm.
like all your connections and stuff, you know?
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. That's very awesome. I let's see here. So going back to like what you're saying about that, all you're spilling everything into that one band, and then you kind of had to start over, and you kind of felt like you lost identity.
Yeah.
At my age and my experiences, sometimes you have to start from scratch to really get where you need to be. I feel
Yeah,
like.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So then
Um,
basically like once we were you know, we had reached a lot of acclaim doing
mhm,
circus things. Then we were like, you know, this has been amazing. We love
mhm,
this. This is awesome. However, um music is still calling my
yeah.
name. You know what I mean? Like it was like
Mhm.
I always tell people like I don't make art, you know, I make art because I'm an artist. I don't make art because I, you know, of any other a grandiose idea of I'm going to
Mhm,
make all this money or whatever else. You know, when I do make money, that's great, you know, and I
yeah.
would appreciate more. But but at the same time, I make art because I must make art because I am an artist and I must make it. You know what I
I
mean? So
totally agree with that. I have just like music and just stuff in my head that I have to get out that has never gone away. The musical itch has never been completely satisfied after that last band and
Mhm,
how everything ended. I
mhm,
loved circus and everything, but the musical bug never left me. And
mhm,
as time passed, it just kept getting stronger.
yeah,
And you know, like the urge to write stuff is just getting stronger. Like if you're not going to
mhm.
do it now, when are you going to do it? We're
Right.
not done. And it was like, well, we have to start something
yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm not satisfied inside, you
Exactly. So
know?
we spent that time like trying to figure out what we were gonna do. We even like auditioned like some drummers and stuff like that. And
Mhm,
I ended up actually reconnecting with an old friend
Mhm.
who was had been in a death metal band, a
mhm,
progressive death metal band in the city. Um and you know, we had stayed friends all these years.
mhm.
And he was like, "Oh, I do drum program." He's like, "I'd love to do music with you guys." He's like, "We played a lot of shows together, and you know, I've always thought you were super talented." And I was like, "Really?" Because you're like this like super technical. He's like this insanely talented, super technical you know, progressive death metal guitarist and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, but I've been working on these other projects and stuff, and you know, like, why don't we just like work on some stuff together? So we sent him some tracks, and then it was just immediate. We were just like, pumping out track
Mhm.
after
Mhm.
track after track after track.
And he kept hitting us back with some real
Yeah,
good drum track. I'm
like
like, he's really good at
yeah,
this. I'm like,
just kept inspiring each other back and forth. And then he was like, "Why don't you guys come down to my studio?" You know, he's in North Carolina, so we
Ah.
went all the way to North Carolina just to record
Mhm.
this
Mhm,
album, and we
We were,
literally recorded it entirely over a weekend, and then went back to New York.
yeah. and I had to record guitar and bass. We didn't have a bass player at the time, so I wrote both parts, and then I recorded both parts. You know, so I recorded. I don't even know how many guitar tracks. My hands were beat. They were so beat. My fingers were cooked after that weekend. It was totally worth it, but you know.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness, that's just wow.
Good memories, though. You know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah.
Talk about getting it done.
Oh,
He
that's how I
also
feel.
ended up mixing and mastering
Mhm.
that album as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, very
Super,
awesome.
super awesome. That's John Clark, North Carolina. Evil John. He's the best.
There's something about North Carolina I don't understand. I know a lot of people that come out of North Carolina. I know a lot of bands that come out of North Carolina, and you hear them talk, and they got the southern draw and the southern twang. And they get up on stage, and it's like you don't hear it at all. And it's like, what is it in the Carolina water? There's so many metal bands come out of North Carolina. Country, I understand. Metal, not so much.
Right.
How
Especially
did that
because they don't
happen?
really have an infrastructure for that. Like they don't
Yeah.
have many rehearsal studios there. They don't have
Mhm.
many recording studios
Mhm.
there.
Right.
They're very like lacking in that infrastructure. So it's very
And yet,
interesting.
it's a.
I think it must be the anger at that that is fueling them.
I blame it on hard water. I don't know. There's something in the water or something, you know. But yeah, I was just kind of curious as to what influences you more. Is it the character that you portray in the band, or is it life itself influencing the character? So I was just wondering
Oh,
what your.
definitely. It's definitely a lot of it is life stuff. A
Mhm,
lot of it is movie stuff. I'm
mhm,
definitely more influenced by film, I think, than
mm,
other music. Other music doesn't necessarily inform how I want to write my music.
mm,
Um, I'm sure it maybe in the back end, maybe there's something, but I don't like go into it thinking of, oh, I want to make a song that sounds like so and so or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah.
that.
Same
yeah.
here.
It's definitely very much like an interior conjuring of whatever
Mhm,
spirits want to come out of me. Like it's definitely like, just I'm constantly ingesting, horror and anime and different things like
mhm.
that. And it's just wherever the whimsy takes me, really.
Well, that's another question I had. You kind of led me right into it. Is music and art is made, if it's done right, in my opinion, to invoke emotion or feeling. You know, whether good, bad, or indifferent, whether it's a coping mechanism or you want to get pumped up. The horror is the only genre that people go into expecting and wanting to be scared. Why do we
Mhm.
do that? What is it about that genre that's like, oh, let me get some more of that? I don't understand it.
Helps
What
us
do you
feel
think?
alive.
Yeah, it does. Again, I find a comfort. I find a comfort in clearly that is a monster. That thing with the tentacles and the claws and the teeth for sure. Like I find um beauty in the weirdest things.
Mhm.
I know this about myself. Like whenever there's like a animated thing and there's like a little weird wonky broken looking toy character, he's like, "That's your favorite, isn't it? That's the one you like, huh?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Always some busted up looking stuff. Oh, it's so cute. And I'm like, that was cute. I'm like, I'm not saying I don't agree with her. Sometimes I definitely do, but also sometimes I'm like, that's what the thing you think is cute, and it's like some broken little, I'm like, all right.
It's sometimes we just find the most obscure things beautiful. Like I do a lot of urban exploring. I go into a lot of abandoned places, a lot of
Oh yeah,
industrial,
that's cool.
and people look at it and you drive past, you're like, okay, it's an abandoned building, so what? And I go in there and I find the textures, I try to find the purpose of what it was, and then I kind of
Yeah.
imagine, and uh, we've come across squatters, meth heads. Once I came across a meth lab, and I
Oh,
got out
that's
of
Oh
there.
cool.
man,
What?
that's scary.
I don't run fast or far, but let me tell you, I hoofed it that day.
I bet,
Yeah, yeah. That's
right?
That's when it gets really scary. That's when, like,
Yeah.
that's the thing about urban exploring that I've always like, I think that's kind of terrifying because, yikes, you know what I mean? Like, it could easily be,
we've
Just
gone
a,
in places where we've gotten hurt, or I've fallen through floors before. I've fallen through
I was
Oh
stairways.
man,
about
I
to
was
say,
thinking that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
had a friend that's exactly I have a fear of urban exploring. I'll just tell you now. And it is because a very dear close friend of
Mhm,
mine, when I was a teenager,
mhm.
she was urban exploring with her friends, and she did the number one thing that you should never do. She went up a staircase. You should never ever ever go up a staircase in an abandoned building, because staircases are one of the first things that can easily deteriorate.
Mhm.
Cool.
So she literally fell through the staircase, crashed and landed on the the whatever bottom floor was
No.
over there,
Yeah.
and broke her back,
Oh.
and she
Jesus.
had to wear a this kind of cool looking, not gonna lie, back brace for months and months after that,
I
and
bet.
obviously had to deal with chronic pain for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So
Yikes.
I love the images that I've
Right?
seen
Like
from urban
I
exploring.
have a healthy respect.
I
I admire
I
urban
admire it.
exploring, but it's something that
It's
I
also
won't
terrifying to me. Yeah,
participate in. I admire I love the videos.
I'll watch the videos for
Oh
sure,
yeah, all
for
day,
sure.
right?
But
So
I always am concerned about, you can run into the unhoused, you can run into, people who are, addicts and stuff, and that are, dangerous people, basically.
yes,
You know what I mean?
and
So
that
it's
and that's
definitely,
goes back to your comment about, when you see a horror movie, you know who the antagonist is. You know that, but when it comes to people, I
Yeah.
always go with the Beetlejuice approach. Never trust the living. So
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, right,
no,
right.
no, never do, never do. Even if they seem a little nice at first, don't trust them.
Mhm.
They're in an abandoned building. They're not your friend.
Yeah,
You
right.
know?
no, no. There's a few people I go with that I do trust, and unfortunately I have to trust them with my life. And
Yeah,
those people, we've proven ourselves to each other, and we have very strict rules. One, no goofing off, no scaring each other.
yeah.
That does not
Yep.
happen.
Don't
Yeah.
do
Um,
that.
I totally
no,
agree with that.
no, and we're always in touch with each other. And there was one, I'll tell you this real quick before getting on to the next question, because it's actually funny. I'll send you some pictures of it. I was doing what I call
Yeah.
fire play. I was doing long exposures, and we are swinging around some stuff and making long exposures. It looked like Doctor Strange portals. And
Yeah.
my one buddy just up and disappeared. And then I hear like chatter behind me, and I'm like, I didn't look. I just turned my head and like, about time you showed back up. Where you been, man? And then I hear it click, and I hear the radio chatter, and I'm like, shit, no. And because there's a bunch of us there taking pictures, and these two cops walk in, and
Oh.
I'm like, hey, how's it going, sirs? And they're like, what are you doing? Oh, there's no denying what we're doing. I was like, well, we're taking pictures, And he says, you're not scrapping or tagging or nothing. I said, there, my bag's right there, sir. Please, I welcome you to go look through it, check it out. And he's like, oh, okay. So what are you doing here? I said, we're just taking pictures, And he says, hold on. Let me guess. You're taking pictures for documentation purposes and historical record keeping because you know this building's slated for demo next year. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Oh, cool. Let me show you these. Dude opens up his phone, starts showing us a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh,
Ah,
nice. Ooh, you got lucky that day. Oh my God. Were
Cleveland
you
cop
you must have been sweating so hard.
for a second, and I showed him what we were doing, and then he saw a couple of my masks that I keep with me when we go into places. He says, "You don't use these for illegal purposes, do you?" I said, "Am I going to admit to that if I do?" And he's probably not. I showed him some other pictures. He's, "Oh, no, those are really cool." And then the one cop looked at me. He says, "You do this for fun? That's literally nightmare fuel, man." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool. Sorry about that." So, I mean, just in our conversation, you guys have covered a lot of my questions. Um, so, for your live show, that is very theatrical, like I've said before.
Mhm.
How much planning goes into the creative experience, and how much of it is like, hey, let's just do it on the fly?
We definitely plan stuff out.
yeah.
It's definitely like it's not on the fly when it comes to
Mhm,
our live show at all.
mhm,
I think that
Mhm.
we spend a lot of time being intentional about like what the theme is, if
mhm,
there's a theme,
mhm,
what kind of costumes we want to wear. I have specific movements and things that I do on specific songs.
mhm,
Um, that I practice ahead of time to make sure that it makes sense and it looks cool. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Mhm.
Um, you know, there's always room for a little improvisation because, of course, when it comes to live performance, there's always a chance that something can go wrong. You know, you never know what that thing is going to be. You know, it could be a. I remember one time with our old band, we were playing a show at CBGB's, and it was around Halloween. It was a goth and death rock festival because it was during the death rock revival in New York City. So we played this show, and literally everything broke. Every in sequence per like every song, something broke. The guitarist broke his string. The keyboard got unplugged. The my mic stand snapped in half. I was like, "What is going on?" I was just like, it was just so
Didn't the
ridiculous.
drummer break a drum
The
that
drummer
time
broke
too?
one of his drums. He broke. He was like playing on the rim of the fucking snare drum. It was crazy. Like, and we were just like, oh well, we were like, I guess the spirits are up to some mischief tonight, y'all. You know, and we just kind of like played it off. And that actually was a really fun show because we played it with it was oh man, Penis Flytrap. It was the side project of oh my gosh, what's her name? Jesus, I can't remember her name at the moment. My brain is pea soup. It's a little hot in here. But it was a band called Penis Flytrap, and it was awesome. They are old school. They had a song on Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay.
It's Party Time. That was the name of the song. Anyway, she was such a pleasure to perform with and so gracious. Like literally when the guitar string broke, like she was like had her guitarist throw a pack of strings at my guitars and stuff. The nicest person. So freaking cool.
One thing I've heard consistently since I've been photographing and working with bands and stuff is if there's no problems, it's not a show. So
yeah, exactly.
It must have been a hell of a show.
Something's gonna go wrong. Like something's gonna go crazy.
It's like, of course, you prepare and you rehearse and you practice, but if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen live. So that's why you practice. So when it does happen, you're just like, all right, just keep it moving. You know, and dust your shoulder off. All right.
We're really good at going with the flow because honestly, the same thing happens in circus. There is so many parallels between being in the circus and being in a rock band.
I think it's live performance.
Yeah.
It's just what it you know what I mean? And it has that in common because if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen live. You know, like
and with circus stuff, you know, we performed in front of thousands and thousands of people. We performed at Electric Zoo, you know, which has usually has at least like
I don't even know.
I don't know. I think
those things are packed.
Yeah, it's at least like 5,000 people per like stage area. You know what I mean? Like not even the whole event, just like in each area. There's so many people at these things.
Wow.
So you know, I remember one time we were performing and I was in this gigantic stilt costume in a big foam monster suit. I was a big alien robot gorilla, you know, like on stilts bouncing. And for some stupid reason, the minute that we are coming from the side stage and going in front of the stage, you know, like, you know how like there's like the stage and then there's like the little gates that are in front of the stage. And then there's another little panel of gates to keep the crowd from getting in there. And like people can kind of pass through there and do whatever they got to do. So we're in that middle trough area, right? Okay. Doing our thing, bouncing up on stilts and whatever. And the minute that me, the smallest of the stilt walkers, me, like I was like 115 pounds soaking wet at the time. And I'm in this big costume. This guy decides this is the perfect time to turn on a 5-foot fan that is blowing so hard because he's using it to launch inflatables out into the crowd. And he decides that the time that I am turning this corner and I cannot see him, you know, and I'm going out is the time to turn this super huge fan on. And it literally, caught the edge of my costume, had like a big belly, you know, but it was made out of foam. So the air can come in through the sides and it caught it like a sail. and it just immediately wham knocked me down. I was just like instant. I was like, wait, is that a friend? Boom! I was on the ground. Like I didn't even know what the fuck happened to me. I was like, oh my god! Like I just heard like the grinding of this industrial fan, and then I was on the floor. And then I was like, oh, this is embarrassing. So then I had to have like, some of our crew come over that are, supposed to like, they couldn't have done anything to keep me from falling over.
No.
The only thing that could have been done is that they should have fucking not turned the fan on in the first place. They should have just waited till our set was over. It's not like it was even a long set. We were just there for like 2 songs or something like that. They could have just waited and everything
Oh
would have
my
been
God.
fine. The other guys didn't get knocked over because they were all big dudes, you know what I mean? So they all weighed enough that they didn't get knocked over, but my little butt was just immediately.
Oh, you're saying 100, like you're close to 100 pounds at that point. I mean, my shadow weighs 100 pounds. I mean, good Lord.
It was crazy. It was
Uh,
crazy.
Yeah.
But I got up and then I just like I put my big old monkey arm like up in the air triumphantly, and the crowd went crazy. They were like, yeah, that's what we do. We get knocked down. We get back up. And I had this whole crowd of people just
Wrong
cheering
band.
for me. They were like, monkey, monkey. They were just losing their minds and they were having the best time. And I was like, all right, I'm feeling better. And I was just head banging with them and being a weirdo, and I was okay. I made it through the set, but I actually had to cancel all the rest of my sets for the rest of the day because I was messed up. I had hit the ground really hard.
That was actually one of my next question was what's happened? What? Good Lord, I can talk. I promise. Has anything ever gone hilariously wrong on stage? And how did you recover? You already answered that, so knocked
Yes.
out that question. This is why I like having more conversational interviews as opposed to question answer question answer. I just feel it's so impersonal. So I was very happy, but also a little sad prepping for this interview. I didn't find much about you guys online. You guys started in 2020-ish, and right at the beginning of COVID, and
yeah,
yeah,
it was unfortunate because
we had just gotten everything together. We were really excited about like this new project, and it took forever to get it going. And then right in like 2020, just before COVID really hit, we were planning we planned like our first like big show. It might have been the first ever show for the band. I'm not sure.
No, it was
around that time.
Yeah.
And the show went well. We were all super excited. We're on a high. We're like, okay, let's start planning stuff. We're like starting to plan on where we want to play next and the next like steps or whatever.
We had like promoters from the city that were excited about our project, and they were like, I can't wait to book you for this, and that.
And then 2 weeks later, COVID. Everything shuts down. Doesn't matter. Full stop. All momentum lost.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. And then on top of that, our full-time job at that time was circus, performing like full-time. That's all we were doing. And music was on the side.
Yeah.
So COVID came right after that show, like 2 weeks later. I believe it was like the middle of March that year when everything just got the kibosh, and including entertainment. You couldn't perform anywhere legally. You could not perform anywhere. Yeah. You couldn't even go to a gym because it was a public space and they wouldn't allow people in public spaces over a certain amount. So even just going to just train wasn't even possible. So yeah, we ran into a whole lot of stuff that was right as we were trying to get off and get some momentum. And that honestly, that killed a lot of momentum. I'm sure it did for everybody.
Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. COVID sucked. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of going back to a happier topic about horror movies that you guys like and everything. I'm just curious, is there a horror movie villain that you feel is completely misunderstood?
I think there are a lot.
Misunderstood.
But let's see. Didn't we see one recently where,
There's not, I don't have a standout that pops in my head as like, this one's just misunderstood. I don't have a standout one that jumps in my head at the moment.
I do have ones that I'm rooting for. I think that's an easier one to answer. Like we just saw the movie Send Help, and I'm rooting for that bad guy. I gotta say.
As a kid, I never understood why like Jason Voorhees is always trying to kill teenagers and stuff. Now as an adult, it's like, you know what? I'm cheering for Jason because teenagers are annoying as hell sometimes. I'm just saying.
Okay, I just thought of one. I think I just thought of one. Megan. I'm Team Megan. At least for the first movie. I didn't like the second movie as much, but the first movie, yes.
Yeah, I think I was definitely on Megan's side in the first movie also.
I was like, Megan's justified. What are you talking?
Yeah. I would have to
programmed
agree with
protect.
that.
She was just protecting. That's all.
Good job.
Like, what's the problem?
That's what she was made to do. So what's the problem?
Like, what's the problem? I protect. What's the problem? I'm totally behind Megan. She'll be teaching me kung fu and other languages and stuff.
You'll be best friends for life.
Right? Damon Buddy, handing Megan a controller.
Oh man. As long as I'm not playing against her. As long as it's
no,
you
can't play against her.
Don't play a game against
bother.
Megan.
Don't bother.
No.
Co-op only.
Is there if a major horror franchise called you tomorrow and wanted you to write a original song, which franchise would gets the immediate yes?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Pretty
Who
much
gets immediate yes? Yes.
Everybody gets a yes. Everybody gets a yes.
Fair enough.
I mean, there's not a horror franchise that I like actively just hate on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would be pretty open to just about anybody who approached us. It's you know, just like, well, what's your thing? What's your vibe? Like, and let me absorb that, and I'll shoot some stuff back at you. I think it would just be fun. I don't think I would be against any horror franchise in particular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. What's something about your guys' about cut like this that fans would assume but couldn't be further from the truth?
Let's see.
I have no idea what they would even assume.
They would assume,
right? Like,
you know, I mean,
I
it's hard for me to imagine something that, you know what? I know something that people would assume. Some people would assume that he's a scary guy, but he's not. He just has resting Bronx face. And what I mean by that is that when you grow up in New York City, especially if you grow up in some place in the Bronx, there is a mask that you must wear in public. You know what I mean? Like there's like a way that you look so that people don't mess with you. You know what I mean? So that's why I call it resting Bronx face, because it's like, you know, this is like my face of intimidation, so he doesn't know how to shut that off necessarily. So sometimes people will assume that, you know, if he's quiet or that, you know, he's just sitting there.
I often get, are you okay? Are you all right?
Yeah.
If they'll ask me something, they're concerned, like something bad happened, or
like,
they'll just be too scared to approach me altogether because I look mean and aggro or something. I'm just chilling, minding my business.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine, but it's effective. And I mean, honestly, I'm kind of fine with it. Like, if that's enough, then you weren't supposed to come any closer. If that was enough, you know, it's doing its job. You know what I mean?
I've actually had somebody come up to me recently and like, you look so unapproachable, and yet here you are.
Right? Like, funny you're still here then.
Exactly.
And you're here why?
Can't be that unapproachable.
Exactly.
You know, so let me ask you this very important question. Do you consider eyebrows facial hair?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if yes,
it's hair that's on your face.
It is hair on your face. The eyebrows are on your face. It's like, and if you don't have them, you're gonna notice. If somebody doesn't have eyebrows, you're going to notice.
Yep.
You know.
You say that. When I interviewed Doyle, I asked him that question. He looked at me because he was all painted up and everything, and he's like, "I don't have any." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, dude. Okay."
I mean, but he wears a lot of face paint, so that's why you can't tell, you know.
Also, if he wears a lot of paint, that's probably going to get in the way.
Yeah,
I can see it be beneficial to probably not having eyebrows if he does a lot of face paint on a regular basis.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, that would probably just lend to easier everything for him.
I've never seen a picture of him without paint, ever. I've actually looked for it. I cannot find one.
I imagine it's pretty difficult. I mean, it's got to be out there somewhere, but where?
It's the high school yearbook photo, and he's bought them all at this point.
Exactly. me see here. What I keep
I think I took
I
a picture with him at Chiller Theater Horror Convention a long time ago, and he was super nice, actually.
he was very nice. He was very fun to
He
talk
even let
to.
me wear his spiky vest. He's like, "Here, you can wear it for the picture." I was like, "Yeah." Look at me, I'm cool.
So uh if if your band was a haunted house, what what room would each member occupy?
Ooh, okay, okay.
Mm.
If I was a haunted house, which room would each of us be? Well, I would be in the boudoir, of course. And it would be like a haunted slumber party kind of vibe. That would be really fun, I think. Just me and some spooks and stuff, bats and
Mm.
like spooky plushies that came to life, like all over the bed and stuff. Oh, that would be the best. Yeah.
I would lean towards any kind of thing that was more towards like a Freddy Krueger dream world type of is
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
dream world type of haunted
Like
kind of
boogeyman.
like yeah, like I like that. That's my jam. Messing with people's heads and illusions and like
Yep.
I totally be in there. And I would guess our bass player, since his name is Corey Carver, will be in some kind of like room filled with a bunch of like cutlery and knives and like a
So the
butcher's room or
kitchen.
a kitchen
Gotcha.
or something or
Yeah.
like
I'm
You
guessing that's
you
me.
got the old school butcher's apron. He's like sharpening the knives and stuff. It's all hung up
right.
on the wall. I got it. I got it. So let's pretend that the zombie apocalypse hits tonight. Which one of the band members is living the longest and why?
Uh, I'm going to say potentially me
Okay.
because Rose has allergies.
Yeah.
I do not.
I give myself away with like a sneeze or something and I
Ah,
get killed
okay.
or something like
Yeah,
I didn't
so
know people are
I'm
allergic to
not
zombies.
I'm not really allergic to like anything. So just regular life, I'm just gonna need less resources.
I require a lot of medications in order to stay whole and working properly. So
So we got
once
him
those
doing
run out,
hitting.
I'm screwed,
So he's hitting the gun. He's hitting the gun shops and ammo depots, and you're hitting the pharmacies. I got it. So I know where
Exactly,
to
You know
find you
what? Like,
guys.
exactly.
that's
But once I'm out of
some teamwork.
Clarendon, it's over.
I mean, but somebody made Claritin, and all we got to do is like look at a couple of little recipes on the back, get a couple of herbs, maybe. I don't know. I'm like, maybe nature has a cure or a leaf or something you can take instead or something. I don't know. I'm not giving up yet. I'm not giving up that easy. I want to find a new Apocalypse Bay. Like, I don't want to do that.
Oh my goodness.
Line some herbs up right now.
So here's one for you, man. Because I look at you guys. I think you're much younger than me. I really do feel like you are. But I think you're old enough to remember Scooby Doo. And
Oh,
being
of course.
Of course.
Scooby Doo, ironically, is what got me into horror genre when I was a kid.
Okay.
So if Scooby Doo investigated cut like this, would he uncover the actual monster or just another guy trying to buy up the amusement park?
We'd probably have like maybe we'd have like a there would be like spooky stuff happening and we'd be like, what the heck is going on? Like we thought that we were just a hardcore band that was making all this stuff, but then all of a sudden stuff actually started happening and it would be like some shady manager, you know what I mean?
Ah,
They'd be like,
gotcha.
this isn't a monster that's haunting your band. It's the shady manager. They take his mask off, and they take the monster's mask off, and it's just a shady manager. He's like, I had to do it. It's the only way to keep you inspired. We had to take it to a meta level like this. This is people were watching your live stream so often, trying to see when the next messed up thing was gonna happen. And
I picture being like, "You're the best. You're right. The best when you're scared."
Oh,
Like
goodness.
a scared guitar riff. Oh.
Because I'll tell you the truth, the thing is with us is that we actually do believe in spirits and ghosts
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. So I would never be a ghost hunter because I don't want to confront the forces of darkness.
That's my
at
thing.
all.
I'm like, so say you're correct and ghosts and all these spirits exist, right? What happens when you find it?
Yeah, no,
because
it's bad. Something bad's gonna happen to
because it's
you.
probably not going to be friendly necessarily. You don't know what you're going to run into. So what
Here's
happens when you find it?
That's how you
so
get cursed.
I'm like, I'm
Don't
good.
do it.
I'm
here's
good.
the thing. I've believed in paranormal since I was a kid. I was very close to my cousin. She died when I was 4 or 5. I can't remember which. And I told my dad, because I only saw him on the weekends, I told my dad that I saw Angie in my room one night. And that did not go well. And
Hmm.
she had been gone for a couple weeks. And I told him about what happened, and that did not end well. I'm not going to get into it, but it just didn't. And
Yeah.
ever since I was a kid, I've seen shadow people. As an adult, I've seen stuff and things. People around me experience things, and especially skeptics. Oh, that's not right. That's not possible. And then stuff happens. They're like, dude, I am so sorry. So trust me, I get it. I am a firm believer in other realms, interdimensional realm travel. I'm a huge supporter of paranormal activity and whatnot. And what gets me is going back to never trust the living.
Yep.
I'm more scared of people than I am of spirits. Spirits, they say they can hurt you. I don't believe it. In my
Mhm.
experience, I've been scared at times where I hurt myself because
Yeah.
it threw me
That's
off
how
kilter.
spirits usually attack you. They mess you up and they make you think that this is this and then it's not, and then you hurt yourself.
Yeah,
You know?
there's a I don't know if you guys have ever been to Memphis, but there's a place called the Memphis French Fort. I actually investigated there and I photographed it. That was one of the first abandoned places I'd ever been.
Mhm.
I had permission to be in there, and
Yeah.
the guy locked me in. The guy that owns it locked me in there. And the reason it's called Memphis French Fort is
Oof.
because it was a French fort during the Revolutionary War. Then they built on this hospital that was originally an asylum, turned into a marine hospital. And I'm talking to the guy, and he looks at me. He says, "Now listen, you got the basement, you got the first, second, third floor. Now, if you happen to go up into the attic, be careful. What? What? Is it not structurally sound? Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Really thick flooring up there, real good. And is there squatters? Is there animals? No, just be careful. Okay, all right. Odd. And several things happened in that place while I was there. Several things,
Oh
and
no.
one of which was I heard someone walking. There was no one there at all, and and then I went to go to. I'm looking at the. I was looking at the stairs. I'm up on the third floor, and I'm looking at the stairs to go to the attic. And I just kept replaying that in my head. Be careful. Why? And I just felt, and I played football for a number of years. I've boxed for a number of years. I know what getting hit feels like. I'm not
Yeah.
imagining this. And I put my first step, put my foot on the first step, and I put my foot on the second stair. And as soon as I put my foot on that second stair, I felt two hands just check me right in my chest.
Oh man.
And I lifted up my respirator because the place was shut down in 1946 and didn't have any air conditioning. It was in Memphis in the
Uh-huh.
summer and black mold, asbestos. I'm wearing
Yep.
a
Yeah,
Yep.
respirator.
no, no.
And I
Yep.
lifted up my face mask and I'm like, dude, I don't know who or what. We're good. I'm not coming up. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. We're
Like,
good, man.
yep.
Yep.
So I've seen things. I've experienced things. My
See,
friend
they
and I
didn't
were,
want you
It's
there.
like, I'll take
oh,
that one and be like, oh,
See?
okay,
yeah.
we're all right. About face.
Just don't go in there.
About
Yeah,
face.
we were also just recently we were in a hospital that was being torn down, and we found that right in the middle of the demo they stopped right at the wall with the morgue, and we got in as uh they didn't hit the morgue yet, but they were going to the next day. And I walked in there and I'm looking around. I told my buddy, I'm like, dude, we're not alone. He's like, no, dude, all the construction guys are gone. There's no security here. We are not alone. Okay,
Oh
dude.
no.
And my camera actually took its own picture. I'll send it to you, show you. My camera
Ooh.
opened, the iris opened, stayed open. I took the
Uh-uh.
battery out, put it back in,
Scared.
sat there and looked at it, and the light source was behind me. You'll just wait until you see this picture. I'll send it to you. But
Yeah.
it was, so you're talking about paranormal stuff. Trust me, I am a firm believer in it. I don't like the ghost hunter stuff, or especially when they're disrespectful to the vet to the
Yeah, I think it's a
location.
bad idea. Don't disrespect them, man. Like that's how
Don't
you get cursed.
You know?
You
don't come
know?
into my house and start cursing at me and trying to agitate me. I'm gonna bounce you out into the yard.
Exactly.
And
You
and
can't
be
blame the ghosts. The ghosts are just doing what they gotta do. You know, like you're
exactly,
disturbing
exactly.
their place of rest. Like get out of
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Don't mess with the ghosts.
It's like
It's like you're the one went looking for them. What happens when you find an angry one?
I'm saying, don't do it. Don't
if you're
piss
gonna
off
go
the
looking
ghosts.
for, if you're gonna go looking for paranormal activity and then you find it and these guys scream like little girls and start running, and it's like, then why look for it? I mean,
Yeah, I thought you wanted this. That's what you wanted.
exactly.
I think they don't actually think they're legit gonna find
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
something that's gonna freak them out that much. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
That's why we love watching movies. We specifically, especially him, love to
Mhm.
watch movies where it's ghost hunters finding something that
those ghost hunter found footage kind
yeah,
of like
yeah, found
because
footage horror where the
yeah,
ghost hunters find what they're
like
looking
I
for.
can't front. I
Yeah.
used to watch like that Ghost Hunter show on
Yeah.
Sci-Fi like a
Yeah.
lot. I used to like I just wanted something in there to be real. I'm not saying that any of it was, but I just wanted anything
Yeah.
in there to be real, and it was just entertaining. Kind of, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I like reality TV stuff, and I'm like, yeah, hunt supernatural stuff, and good luck, you know. And
Yep.
like maybe
That
they'll
that
find something to give me proof. They never really find anything to give you proof. You know what I mean? It's all,
no,
but
no.
it's fine. It's amusing anyway.
Oh, it is amusing, but and that's why certain things like I said, I find certain things very interesting. Other stuff I don't like it when they go into these, like I said, they go into these places and they're very disrespectful. I don't like that
Yeah.
at all.
I don't like it either.
Uh,
I don't like
I'm
it either.
trying to find you where so I can send you that picture I was talking about from the morgue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seriously? Oh my goodness! Hang on a second. I know it. I'll send it to you later. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. So just getting back to the question. Sorry.
Mhm.
Um, what's a compliment you guys have gotten after a show or anything actually that will stick with you to the end of time?
Um.
Mm.
Hmm. Oh man, that's hard to say. I
I
feel like any nice words that anybody says are always really touching. Um, like I said, like I've had a lot of people because I always am very honest about the sky is falling
Hmm.
before I sing it.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people come up to me and be like, I lost this person, I lost that person,
Mm.
and you know, and I also felt like it was too soon, it wasn't right,
Right.
like I wrote that song because I was really plunged into a terrible sadness.
Yeah.
And then during COVID, which is when we were we were promoting, the album and stuff still,
Hmm.
um uh my father also passed away, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's something it just felt even more of, I had written it about one thing, but then here was this other thing that it also definitely I felt the same way, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just
Yeah.
there's no way to describe that feeling until it happens to you. You know what I mean? Like to truly understand it.
Yeah.
And once I did, it was irrevocably changed. And so I was like, well, I had somebody and they were like, yeah, I had somebody come up that was actually in a wheelchair at the
Hmm.
show. And they really loved the show and they were like, wow, like it hasn't been since Chester Bennington that I heard somebody like scream like that,
Hmm.
and it touched me in my heart, you know what I mean? And it was specifically that song because
Yeah.
they were dealing with an illness themselves, which is why they were in there. And just a beautiful person with a really beautiful heart
Yeah.
that really, her story touched. I was like, you talking about me touching you, you touching me right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh my God, and and I was just like, you're so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with
Yeah.
me because, I think that when you're a person that's dealing with chronic illness and chronic pain, it's a very lonely path It's very difficult. I've seen, loved ones go through this and continue to go through this and fight through this, and I have a lot of respect for people that deal with chronic pain and that are fighting because it's really hard. It's hard to keep um that energy going, that fight, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you're like, God damn, I'm so tired of fighting. Like I
Yeah.
really want to just rest, you know what I mean?
My
So,
when my son was alive, he had a very severe birth trauma, and he was wheelchair bedbound, and he
oh
passed when he was
man.
Oh
almost
man, sorry
6.
to hear that.
And it was bittersweet. Seeing him go was bittersweet. It was obviously it sucks. My son to
Yeah,
this day is the center of my universe, but
yeah, absolutely.
it was release. It was a release because one, I no longer had to worry about him outliving me, and two,
Yeah,
uh, he's no longer in pain. He had
yeah,
seizures. He had all kinds of problems. He had a
yeah,
lot of problems, and
yeah,
it sucks. And like you're talking about, the experience with your song, it even though I'm not over his passing, but at the same time, I'm able to talk about it now. But there are still
Yeah,
times just thinking about it, I'll start welling up and start getting
oh,
emotional.
absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
It's
definitely,
one of those
definitely.
things. You, time heals mostly, but more when it really hits you like that, time doesn't heal. You just grow numb to it. And some
Yeah.
days
Mhm.
it hurts a little more than others.
Yep.
The pain's
Yeah,
not there. It's
Yep.
just you're not able to block it out as much. And I cannot
Yep. When
find
Facebook Memories puts up pictures of my dad, or when
yeah,
Father's Day just passed, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's really hard.
yeah.
Um,
It
it's
sucks.
really, really hard. It's just like, damn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's just like, God damn it,
yeah. And it just sucks. It really does. And like you were saying before, there's a lot of people out there just sucking in oxygen, taking that better people should be using right now.
Yeah,
right.
for real, for
Totally
real.
feel you on that.
So when you guys are not on stage, you're not in costume, and you're just your everyday you, what makes you the happiest when you're not performing?
I'd say I like hanging out with Rose and like watching movies and
Yep.
anime, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
Flash 'em Up is a real song. It's really truth. That's exactly like it's my favorite. That's like my love song to just sitting at home with your boo, doing a little Netflix and kill, you know what I mean? A little just watching, just watching horror movies with your best friend is the best. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like just like being able to have a good time, have like the release of like watching like a crazy horror movie, but
Mhm,
also knowing that you're safe and sound with your
mhm,
friend, eating snacks and just like making jokes and just being ridiculous. Like that is the epitome. Like to me, since I've loved horror movies since I was a kid,
mhm,
and one of the things that I used to love doing with my best friend is we'd go over to each other's houses and
mhm.
we'd watch horror movies together. You know what I mean? And we'd go to Blockbuster and we would pick solely based off of how crazy the artwork was for the
Mhm.
videotape. Be like, oh, this one right here. Oh yeah, like
You can't do that
it
on
was
digital. You can't do that on
no,
digital.
yeah, no, there was something that was really fun about, going to, it's like, and it would be either with like my bestie or with my little
Mhm,
brother, because I have a little brother. So it's like we just, going and watching horror movies together, playing video games
mhm.
together,
That's also my other biggest. If I'm like solo, then it's time to turn on that
yeah,
PlayStation. It's
this is the
video.
big gamer
And
right here,
I'm
right
a
here.
big video gamer. I've always been a video gamer. I've never lost my love for, and it's like, why would I lose my love for it when the technology has gotten so much better? The games they're just so much more fun to play.
Yeah.
So I got a little solo downtime. I'll see everybody later. I'm gonna be on PS5 for the next like day and a half or something.
We have actually thought about doing some streaming or whatever of us playing video games because
Why
he's
not?
awesome at them. I am not as awesome at them. But I am good at like the puzzly parts and stuff. I like a good old fashioned side
I
scrolling
just gotta find a
uh
middle ground.
yeah, I like a side scrolling beat 'em up. Like I'm definitely a retro gamer
Yeah, yeah.
mostly. Like I
Hmm.
like games like that are like dungeon crawly or like side scrolling like beat 'em ups like Streets of Rage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Streets of Rage. Yeah. Contra. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love Contra so much. I don't know if you've never heard. Check out Vomitron. They actually do a song called Contra, and it's a cover of like every
It's
stage
amazing, yeah.
of Contra,
But
and it's like
it's a
super
yeah.
metal. It's freaking
It's like
awesome.
super talented metal
Awesome.
musicians that covered
So
like
good.
basically the entire
It's the
soundtrack of
entire soundtrack
Contra.
of the first
It's
Contra
amazing. It's like
in one song. It's just like
I
wow.
didn't know I needed this until I heard it, and
Yeah.
I totally needed this in my life.
I,
Like,
I
yep,
highly
yep.
recommend it. I highly recommend it. Vomitron. That's what they're called.
That's
Really.
awesome.
I think they're from. I think it's a dude who's from like Boston or something, Massachusetts somewhere.
Oh, awesome.
Really good.
If you have your phone, I sent you that. I found the picture and sent it to you.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, so I found that picture that the camera took by itself. But yeah, so that's awesome. And I'm a hardcore gamer as myself. My wife, the only thing I play on console is the Lego games. Normally I just play World of Warcraft or Diablo 3 and 4. So
oh, we love
Oh, we love the Diablo. Yeah, we were
Diablo.
playing the
Yeah.
last Diablo game.
Yeah, we
playing through that game.
We love that game. We actually played it twice. Like we're on our second go round now.
Yeah.
We made new characters because our first time. Oh, what kind of character did I have? I think the first time I had like
You had like a fighter, barbarian.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it the rogue, the backstabbier? I don't know. You were
I
melee,
have a rogue
and,
now
and
this
I was
time.
like,
I have a
oh.
rogue this time. Last time I had a
So we
barbarian.
went with the opposite of like our normal selves. I was
Yeah.
like, so you be like the
was like the
brawler, and
necromancer,
I'm gonna be like
the wizard.
the wizard. So the first time I was like a fire mage, where literally like everything was on fire. I just did a whole fire build, and then the second time it was just a straight necromancer build. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no, my first one, she was a big old muscle mommy barbarian with a big old double-handed axe and stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
what
she
it was.
Just like brawling, just smashing through people.
That's a fun game.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I love that game. That game is so good.
My friend, my childhood friend, we've been friends since 4th grade, and he's now working. He was at Rockstar, now he's at EA Sports, and he works on games and stuff. And he's like, "You should try this. You try this." I'm like, "Dude, no, I stick with WoW because I'm one of those people that sometimes I can't play like GTA. I can't play Medal of Honor because it messes with me. Like in the real world, I can't." And he's like, "So what's?"
I understand. I feel the same. Some of those are they're too realistic for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I feel like I'm watching like the news and it's really scary and bad. Like, like it's upsetting. Like,
playing World of Warcraft.
I'm like, watch me be in the news right now.
Yeah. And playing WoW, I've never confused myself with a Tauren or an orc carrying a two-handed battle axe walking down the street. That cross examination, that cross confusion has never happened. I want to keep it that way.
I hear you, man.
So, what's something you guys have gotten better at saying no to as you gotten older when it comes to the music side of things? When
it comes to the music side of things, okay, something that I've been working on getting better at is that. Well, I've gotten better at it. I have definitely been guilty of taking shows that I knew wouldn't be a good idea because I just like the person that was asking me, you know what I mean? And I knew that it was not gonna necessarily be a great attendance or anything. And and it's like those kind of shows are fun in their own way, but they're also a little bit of a morale killer. So I was like, okay, I gotta be a little bit more,
more selective
about
time and energy.
Yeah.
Nothing, but it does take a lot of
especially our shows. Like I always like kind of go extra and stuff like
try
that.
To find like costumes and themes, and not for nothing, but we have even bigger plans. Once the budget allows, like we have bigger plans for
our live show.
We
have like huge ideas if we had the budget for
this. Is like this is a low budget version right now. Like once we get rolling, then I think it'll be just a really fun spectacle to watch and to go and be a part of, because that's what always the people who drew me in the most on stage always seemed larger than life in some
Yeah.
respects.
Yeah.
Whether it was the full band or they had like extra like characters on stage or just like one standout musician who was just like spoke to it seemed to speak to me and nobody else but me, you know?
As far as like right now, currently, I think one of my biggest inspirations for a live show, somebody I think that kills it at live shows is Maria Brink from In This Moment.
Yeah.
I think that they put on such a cool show. It's a big spectacle. It's
I
exactly the first
agree.
time that I saw them, I was like, oh, this reminds me of like early aughts like Manson at his peak. You know what I mean? Like that level of stage show and like theatricality and like having the
Yeah.
dancers and the different costume changes and the
Mhm.
setup. I was like, this is exactly what I would like to do.
I
Something like that
agree.
level, you know?
So my combination of stuff is like a hybrid of like stuff that like In This Moment Maria Brink does mixed in with
With
like
circus stuff. Like that.
well, yeah, but that's not what I was gonna say. Mixed in with like Rob Zombie Static X. You know how to
Yeah.
have like big characters with these giant like robot heads and these giant puppets walking out, and they'll be kind of doing the thing, telling the story. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's really cool
100%.
to like hybrid all of that, and then have a splash of circus where we can like maybe get
Yeah.
some of our friends and stuff to do some stuff. I don't really want to perform and do circus.
It's hard.
Because
Yeah.
it's just really hard. So there would just be moments where if we do circuits, it's outside or in between songs, but not necessarily
Yeah.
during anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, spectacle nonetheless. It was going to be, there would be plenty to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know?
Absolutely.
I can only imagine like you guys trying to do more circus type uh genre stuff during the show while trying to perform. There's enough to go wrong while you're performing, and then adding that
Exactly.
element to it.
Mhm.
You're if you guys are the ones doing, if you had someone else that's dedicated to that part of it, great. But if you guys want to do it yourselves, I can see where that's just too many moving parts where too much can go wrong too easily.
Because
Especially, yeah.
we've tried a couple of different variations with like
Mhm.
circus and music, and while they were successful,
Yeah.
I found that the circus before music taxes my arms, hands, and shoulders
Yeah.
too much for having
Really.
to play a full guitar set as
Mhm.
well. So depending on the act, because what we were doing was our partner acrobatics act, and that's really heavy on my upper body.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally fine and I can do it, but having to do something that's so intricate
Mhm.
afterwards, I just find to not be very enjoyable as the person needing to do it, because
Yeah.
it just wears down some of the muscles that I need. I need some of those same exact muscles, and now they're beat. And I have certain songs that are just very, very fast to play that I
Mhm.
like playing with downstrokes instead of strumming, and I
Mhm.
need that extra reserve of
Yeah.
energy and endurance, which I totally spent doing the circus, you
That
know?
never
So
even
it's like,
occurred to me.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like it was one of those things that I tried to practice like endurance and stuff, but
Mhm.
until you do the actual thing, you're
Mhm.
not gonna know the full amount of energy
Mhm.
required. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't keep doing this because I want
Mhm.
to give more in my stage performance.
Mhm.
And I felt like it was actually holding me back because
Yeah.
I had spent so much energy, and then I had to focus a lot more technically to make sure I was just really hitting everything because I was getting tired. And then,
Oh.
it wasn't where it needed to be, and I
Mhm.
still hit everything because there's always more than one way to play like a thing. You can play
Mhm.
certain things with downstrokes, or you can strum it. Or I mean, there's definitely workarounds, but it's not how I want to play it, and it doesn't deliver the exact type of sound that
Mhm.
I want it to deliver if I have to alter it as well. You know?
And
Yeah.
even if people in the crowd don't hear that you missed something or whatever, I'm assuming you guys are like me, where you missed it, and
Hmm.
you're gonna be in your head about it for an indefinite amount of time afterwards because
Yep.
I shouldn't have done this. I
Multiple
pushed too
hours.
hard.
Right.
But I want to do this, but you just have to find a happy balance between what you can do, what you want to do, and what's going to make it work. That's just,
Totally,
yeah,
totally.
I get it,
So
man.
yeah, but I mean, the dream for circus in our shows is by no means dead,
Mhm,
but it would just be rethought. You
mhm.
know, let me plug this in. My phone's about to die. Second,
I'm
No worries.
hogging the camera.
I think our mics. Like, can he hear us? I think our mics are dying.
I
Can
can
you
hear you
hear us?
perfectly. I hear you
Okay,
perfectly.
You
Yeah.
hear us perfect.
perfect.
Okay, good.
Did the phone plug in? Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
Great.
okay.
There we go.
Charging it.
So, is there something that people assume that you're good at that you're actually really bad at?
I mean, I honestly don't know what anybody assumes about us at all, to tell you the truth. I have, like, we're like on the come up, so I can't say I've gotten enough feedback of anything to be like, yeah, they think this about me or us.
I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what people think about us. I haven't
Okay.
really gotten
Fair
enough
point.
feedback to be able to
Fair
comment
point.
on that.
So, have you guys ever changed your mind about something that that y the younger you would argued about for hours?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. So many things.
Totally, yeah.
So many things. I was such a little edgelord when I was a kid, man. Forget about it. And you couldn't tell me anything because I was absolutely convinced that I was the smartest thing ever. So,
And like my songwriting back in the past was untouchable. You couldn't tell me it wasn't correct. Like, what do
yeah,
you mean? This is the
no.
best riff that's ever been written. What are you talking about? You're a fool. You know what I mean? Like, I've come such a long way as a writer, a musician, an artist, and of
Mhm.
just being able to know I'm not the best at any one given thing, and that's fine. It's
Yeah.
totally okay to accept critique
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
get better with it and because of it.
I was definitely
You know?
very I remember a little while ago I came across an old interview that I had done with my old band. And like I said, that band I started when I was 16 years old.
Mhm.
So it had some immature themes and stuff in it. And even some of the things that I expressed in that interview, I'm absolutely not that same person anymore.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
remember I really had a chip on my shoulder against pop music at that time, when I was a teenager, and I was just like, oh, I freaking hate it,
Mhm.
because I had felt at the time it was right when bands like Pink were coming out and like stuff
Mhm.
like that. And it was right like after years of being bullied for having funky colored hair,
Mhm.
now it's super common. But at the
Yeah.
time in school, having funky colored hair, having pink
Mhm.
hair or even like bright red hair, as a teenager when I was growing up, like people looked at you some kind of way and people had
Mhm.
something to say about it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then all of a sudden there was this cultural zeitgeist and that was
Mhm.
cool. So then people would be like, "Oh yeah, you're like Pink, you're like this." And I'm like, "No. No, I'm not like her." Like,
She's like
meanwhile,
me.
now I have a lot of respect for Pink now as an artist. I think first
Mhm.
off, she's an amazing singer, and second, she trained in circus. She actually, the guy that trained her was the brother of the guy that one of the owners of our circus school. You know what I mean? So it was just so funny, like
Right? It was
you
like, oh,
know,
small circus world.
small circus world. We actually like know the family that helped to train her and stuff. And super talented. That's like a generational,
Mhm.
like a third generation circus family that taught her to do everything
Wow.
because she was a gymnast before she became a pop musician. So
Good
she
job
had
to
a
do that.
lot of the core skills necessary before even getting into circusy stuff.
Mm.
But so I have a ton of respect for her. But
Mhm.
teenage me would have been like talking all kinds of smack for no good reason because I didn't know anything. I didn't know any better. And I felt very protective over, my special interest. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I felt that it was being invaded by these normies that had been ones that were bullying me just a year ago. Like, how dare you
And
bully
now it's
me? And now
the
you think it's
trend.
cool, and now it's the trend. And you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
dare you have tormented me and jumped
Mhm.
me and done this and that to me and
Yeah.
called me names, you know what I mean? And like now it's cool. Now all of a sudden it's cool. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
So I definitely had a big old chip on my shoulder.
Mhm.
I think that if you are a person that can look back and say that all the opinions that you had as a teenager are still valid, then you have not grown up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you are an immature person and you have not really worked toward any personal growth.
No.
If you can say with 100% certainty that those opinions that you had when you were a teenager are still 100% your current opinions, I worry about you then. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I would worry about you.
No,
I would
I
be
think
like, well, I think you have some really serious amount of growing to do. You know what I mean?
I've
Like we
I've thought back to when I was a teenager about certain things, and it's like how would because I saw a meme the other day. There's only two people you need to impress in your life. Two people: 12-year-old you and 80-year-old you.
I like that.
And it's like I look back at that and I started doing some deep diving as to some of the things I've said and done over the years. And it's like, you know what? I would love to go if they invented time travel just so I can go back and punch myself in the throat a few times because that kid deserved it. It's just jeez. It's like
Oh man.
I made a joke one time to my grandma before she passed, and I just asked her. I said, "Why did you let me live?" Looking back, why? I mean, you had plenty of time. I was sleeping here a lot. You
How did
could
I
have
not get
gone in at
slaughtered
night.
in my sleep?
Yeah. And I got in trouble when I was a kid one time, and my grandma, little woman, she came up to about here on me. And one time I was 16 and I got in a lot of trouble. And she says, she said, I bet you think you're real big and bad, don't you? I just looked at her and she says, I got some here that says I'm just as big as you. She pulled out a 22, a 38, a 44, went around the corner, got a 10 gauge, a 12 gauge. Want to dance?
Oh man.
Grandma didn't play. So it's like I said, I asked her in my
Oh
adult years,
grandma.
I was like, why did you let me live? Seriously, I would have shot me. But yeah, trust me, I get it. And like you said, if you as an adult, if you hold true what you hold true as a teenager and you had no change, then chances are that person isn't capable of change, I would imagine, or they have never
Yeah.
had to because they've never gone anywhere, which is
Mm-hmm.
also is sad its own right, in my opinion. But that's me.
It
Sorry,
is. It
I'll
is
get off my
sad.
soapbox.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys consider like a comfort movie? Like you just want to you got a warm soup belly. It's a winter night. You just want to sit down and just watch your comfort movie. What do you guys
Oh,
go
easy
to?
comfort movie for me is The Mummy, the original one with Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah.
Easy comfort movie for me. I've seen that a ton of times, and like if it's on, I'll just watch it. It's like, yeah,
That's every bisexual's awakening movie right
total comfort.
there. The
Also,
sexiest cast of all time.
alternative comfort movie for me is the very first Back to the Future movie with Michael J. Fox.
Mm.
Something about that movie, I don't know. I've seen that one a ton of times. It's just like a happy place of like the past for me.
Mm.
It's like I see it and it's like I feel happy, but I feel happy in the past and the present at the same time almost, because the memories from back then, but they're all good memories, from back
Yeah.
then and that time. So it's like I'm simultaneously happy back then and right now. And it's just almost like a movie gave me a hug, like it's okay. I'm like, yeah.
Have you guys? You brought up Michael J. Fox. Have you seen The Frighteners?
Yes, of
Yes,
course.
love
Yes.
that
Love that movie.
movie. My body is a roadmap of pain.
He looks pissed. I
Oh
love
my
that movie. I
god.
love that movie.
That movie is great. It's so fun.
Oh yeah, it took 7 years to make that movie because the special effects hadn't really wasn't when they started the movie. The
They
special
weren't
it
ready
took
for
time.
it.
Yeah,
There
it
was
took time
really
for the
good
effect.
special. There
Yeah,
was it was surprisingly good,
yeah.
like horror special effects in that movie
Hmm.
when it was fairly like funny. You know what I mean? Like it was
Oh yeah.
definitely. I love horror comedies in general.
I
Like
love some horror comedies. Yeah,
that's
right.
like my very favoriteest genre is a good old horror comedy because it's just like I want to laugh and I want to get scared. I want the gore and I want the action, but I also want it to be fun. Like
Hmm.
that to me is like a I was just talking to somebody the other day that I that's what I miss in the newer Evil Dead films.
Hmm.
That the effects are
It's
amazing,
yeah, but I miss
but
that
I
humor.
miss
I
the
do. I miss that humor a lot.
like I want it to be like Ash versus Evil Dead. I don't want it to be like you know what I mean. Like
So
it's not that I'm not gonna see them. I'm gonna see every
Yeah,
single
and it's not
one.
that they're not done well. It's that I'm missing that horror comedy vibe that
Where's the fun part?
I thought was what the franchise was.
Yeah.
You know.
so you mentioned Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 1, I've actually held the armature of the monster in the basement. My teacher, Rick Catazone, in college, he actually worked on that movie.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
nice.
What's her name? What's the creature in the basement? I forget her name. Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn.
Yeah. That was actually
Yeah.
a guy, you know.
No, I did not know that.
That's a guy.
But and that's the problem I have with horror movies today is they're not they're more worried about eye candy than they are the story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially with reboots. If you're gonna reboot something or you're gonna try to make it better, make it better. But
Yeah.
keep the original recipe, but make it better.
And
And
that's what I'm saying, you know, and it's like, and I'm not knocking the new Evil Dead movies because I do think they're good. I just wish it was like a different name or Evil Dead something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when you say Evil Dead, I'm thinking of a certain style and type of
yeah,
stuff, and I'm just like, I just wish you would have called it something else. Because then
yeah,
I kind of I want the horror comedy. I'm
mm,
looking for it. I need it, and
yeah,
it's nowhere to be found. You
yeah.
know, and that's just on me because I'm looking for something they're not given when they're just trying to be a horror movie. But at the same time, when you're using a name of a franchise that's always giving me X and you're giving me Y,
Yeah.
it's a little confusing as a fan, you know?
It's
It's
not
like,
just confusing, it's disappointing, and it's
yeah.
like, and the first time I saw that, I watched it every day after school. When I was in college, that was the first time I'd ever seen Army of Darkness, and we watched Monty Python, Holy Grail, and then we watched Army of Darkness every day.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something me and my roommates did, and it was just fun,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
and it was funny, and we quoted it nonstop,
Absolutely. Hail to the
and
king, baby.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, because stuff like that has such rewatchability for me.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
it's like not for nothing. Even my favorite horror movie, I'm not gonna watch like a ton of times, but like something that has humor in it, you got me. I'm gonna
yeah,
watch it more than once,
Oh
more than
yeah.
likely. You
Oh
know?
yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
I don't even know
and
how many times I've seen I had the original I saw the original Evil Dead actually after I saw Evil Dead Army of Darkness um at the movie theater. My
mhm.
dad actually is the one that it took me. He was in town and he took me there. He took me to the movie theaters and he said, "You can watch whatever you want." And of course, I picked Army of Dark. I looked at the posters, of course, because that's how we chose things back then.
Yep.
I wasn't able to like look at trailers or anything. So I looked at the posters and I was like, that one, the one with the big skull head guy looking at, oh yeah, that's the one I want to see, and I loved it. And then my friend was like, "Oh, there's a movie before that one here," and he gave
Mm.
me a blank VHS, a VHS with like a little white label with the name Evil Dead scrawled on it and stuff. And I was like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life," And it became like my life for a while. So it definitely holds a big place in my heart, and it's just that's why I love the Ash versus Evil Dead TV series.
Mhm.
Oh,
Is
that was so good.
and
I've
I
never
wish
watched it. I was
Oh
too
my
scared.
God, you need
I
to
was,
Oh,
see it.
you'll
You need to see it.
love
You
it.
need to see it.
It's everything that you want out of Evil Dead.
okay.
And they just made it a show with 3 seasons. It's
Yes,
everything you want out of Evil Dead. It's fantastic.
yes.
Awesome.
Get a trial of
The
stars and watch it.
the blood, the gore, the like the over the topness, the comedy,
Yeah,
the darkness, it's all of it is I'm like, this is perfect. I wish it would have gone on longer.
yeah, yeah.
So
It was so
Oh,
freaking
and
awesome.
Lucy Lawless, aka Xena, is in
mhm.
this show.
I did
Yeah,
not know that.
she's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
She's
She's
awesome.
really good in here too.
So let me ask you this. Since we were talking about paranormal stuff earlier, I'm just curious. Do you guys believe in the theory of multiple existences or realities? Because
Oh,
if you
like
guys,
other dimensions and things
yeah,
like that,
however you want to describe it,
like
alternate realities,
multiversal
dimensions,
stuff.
Mhm.
and so if you believe in that, is there a version of you that you hope doesn't exist, and is there one that you hope does exist?
Okay, so let's see. Were that to be true, I would hope that there was a version of me that made better decisions.
Right?
I think we can
For
all say
sure,
that.
for
I think,
sure, for sure. I think that that's definitely a I think we all have really good and bad parts to ourselves, and I think that as you grow, you meet people that can tip the scales in one direction or the other. So I can definitely think of different points in my life where it would be wonderful if I had gone in this path instead of this one. You know what I mean? Like I can easily,
Right.
easily.
I
We
have a
all have
lot of
those
moments
moments.
where I'm
Yeah.
like, what would have happened if I'd have gone left instead of right? And a lot of different like moments
Yeah,
looking back,
little
I'm like,
sliding door moments in
what
your
would
brain.
have
You're like,
happened?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I get it. Trust me. I totally get it.
But they say now that like when you get a gut feeling, it's because you actually have gone into the future a little bit
Hmm.
and you saw what happened, and
Hmm.
that's your like future self telling your present self like, nah, man, don't do that. Like that's gonna end poorly. And
I
I
have
was
not
just
had
like,
that. I've not heard
wow,
that take
that's
on it before. That's
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
that's a new theory that's
I
going
heard that
around right now.
take recently.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
that take
And I think
recently.
that's pretty interesting. I'm like,
Hmm.
"Ooh, that would be a very interesting." That's very much like Subaru from ReZero.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched that anime
No,
ReZero.
not really. He doesn't have a gut feeling. It happened.
No, he always says, "I had a good feeling," but in reality, he's actually experienced doing the wrong thing and dying horribly and then having to go back and like do it again over and
And then
over.
he comes in and he's always just like, I have a good feeling we should go this way instead. Well, his gut feelings are usually right. Yeah, let's just go this
Well,
way.
you know what,
Meanwhile, the horror that ensued, nobody knows but him.
Meanwhile, his secret PTSD is just continuing to grow.
Deaths are never
They're,
quick.
they're so
Oh
bad.
my god, they're never quick.
So bad.
So you guys have heard of deja vu, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You ever heard of Vujade?
no.
That's a feeling of none of this has ever happened before. So sorry, I just had to throw that in there. So let's see here. We keep answering all my questions. I like it. I like it a lot. So so as you've gotten older, what's something you've gotten less certain of in your life?
Less certain of.
Hmm.
Less certain that I'm absolutely right. I think that I think that black and white thinking is very much just a part of being a younger person. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like you think in very much in absolutes, like
Hmm.
this is absolutely gonna be this way. And I've definitely found that as I've grown over, I'm like, nothing is ever really as cut and dried as you think it is. Even when, um you think that somebody's absolutely incorrect or somebody's absolutely not justified in what their
Hmm.
opinion is. When you actually take the time to talk to them, you realize that, from their perspective, here's what you did wrong. And you're
Hmm.
like, oh, actually, you know what? I can see how you felt wrong from that if
Hmm.
you didn't have this other context, because we didn't actually, all that happened was that we failed to communicate
Hmm.
properly to each other.
Yeah.
And we both made assumptions that were incorrect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, I think that that's a big thing
Hmm.
that I have come to, and I try to remember and keep in mind when I have a conflict with somebody
Hmm.
that, hey, are you sure, that you're absolutely right in this? Or
Hmm.
maybe you're just operating from a lack of information
Yeah.
that this other person can clue you into, and then you can both solve this problem together.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, I think that's a big thing is that, it never has to be me versus you. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? It can also be, hey, let's talk and maybe this can be us versus the world
Yeah.
together. You know what I mean? Like maybe we
Yeah.
can actually figure this out between us and it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a conflict at all.
Unfortunately,
But it
we have
takes
been engineered to be, it's my way, I'm right, and that's why we are where
yeah,
we are. Like we're talking about the dystopian situation we're in right now. People are
yes.
so rigid about how they believe or how they feel, and it's like, well, facts don't care about your feelings. Sorry,
They
Yeah,
don't.
they
you
really
know,
don't. They really don't.
I
That's
don't
why
care.
I try to operate from facts as much as I can. I've definitely caught myself fall into that old way of
Mhm.
thinking every once in a blue of like, no, I'm right. This is the correct way to do this thing. You know what I mean? And, it's like, okay, maybe even if you are right, does that mean that there's really no space to work with this other person? Or can't you give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt? And can't you give them room to share their opinion?
Mhm.
And maybe you can actually come up together with an even better solution
Mhm.
than you could have
Mhm.
just come up with on your own. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
I think that because we worked, in the circus, a circus is never just two people, like it's never just one or two people for a
No.
full circus. A circus
Mhm.
is a lot of people. And I think that when I went into that and working with big troops of people on
Mhm.
things, that's when you really realize that, uh, it's all about that teamwork. It's all
Mhm.
about like supporting each other, and it's not only about yourself. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think that there's those are the people that do the best in circus stuff. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like whenever we have somebody new, we're always like, circus people tend to be very tightly knit groups and stuff because I mean, you're all risking your lives
Yeah.
together. You know what I mean? So that's definitely gonna bond you quicker. You're all suffering through pain together, so you have like a trauma bond. You know, and you all understand what it takes to succeed and how much dedication and effort that there is. So there is a tendency, I think, to respect each other a little bit, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
it's like also when there's a new person added, you're like, okay, I hope this person's not a jerk, or I hope they're not a
Hope
newbie
they're not
diva.
or a diva. Yeah.
Yeah, like divas usually tend to be newbies. They tend to be people that have, drunk their own Kool-Aid. And and you find that same thing with musicians. I think it's more often with musicians, to be
Mhm.
honest, than with
Mhm.
circus people, because
Mhm.
circus people are all gonna have some talent. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
in music world, you
Right.
can meet people that have no talent at all, and they think
Yeah,
that,
like because you can be there's a lot of different levels of musician you can be, but you
yeah,
can be at any kind of level and get on a stage, whether you're good or bad.
Mhm.
Circus, and nobody, you're not really even going to get booked if you're
yeah,
bad.
they're not gonna book
You're
you.
not going to make the stage if you're bad. You're
Yeah,
just not. It's not going to happen. There's no open mics. Not that much. I mean, there is
there are
one
still a
open. There's
couple.
like a couple open mics here and there, but if you're trying to be serious, it's not going to get you anywhere. And it's
Yeah,
like, and if you're booked on a show, you have talent. There's not a
Mhm.
circus person that's booked that doesn't have some kind of immense talent. And usually it's multiple.
yeah,
Well,
Just
and that's
because
the
you were
thing.
hired for that doesn't mean they don't do all of this too, you know?
In my very limited experience, I mean, like you're saying about the circus, the times I've seen things like that, and I've seen acts and whatnot, you're risking personal damage, your personal health, personal life. And
yeah,
music, music accidents happen, things happen, pyrotechnics misfire, things happen, you get hurt.
Mhm.
And not to be sound rude here, but again, in my limited experience, I would say that you can be egotistical as a musician, whereas because you don't really have much to compare yourself to. Whereas in circus, from what I've seen, you know your stuff. You don't need to brag about it because if you do something wrong, you're risking your life or someone else's.
Yep.
And so the ego is put aside for, we need to do this. This is how it's going to be done. Is we need to do this. That's what,
And let's do it
as an outsider.
safely.
Yeah, and
yeah,
safely. And music, you have room. Your ego can manifest much faster and farther and bigger because you don't have that boundary, that
yeah,
I
restriction.
agree because I'm never worried about my safety performing music ever.
yeah.
Not
No,
ever one time have I worried about my health or safety performing music. Now, circus, I mean, which act are we going to talk about?
yeah,
Because not every single act that I do is dangerous, definitely,
yeah,
but there's definitely have dangerous acts that I do, so
yeah.
and I need to be focused and concentrating. There is no ego about that because I'm worried
Yeah.
about my safety and her safety.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's
So,
definitely egotistical circus people I met, but like
oh
I
no,
said,
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of times
they
what it
can be.
is it's certain circus people. When you're new in circus, the way that ego manifests is sometimes you will overdo it in a desire to be seen. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? In a
Mhm,
desire
mhm.
to be recognized for your awesome talent. Sometimes people will
Oh, I
uh
have seen where some people thought they deserved to be paid more
yeah, yeah,
than
yeah.
like everybody else
Hmm.
because of like whatever kind of skill or whatever they were doing, and it's like no, because the rate and everything was talked about in advance.
Yeah.
Don't start complaining. You know what everything is
Yeah.
and what the rates are, and you know it's like diva will come out and sometimes with people's pay,
Yeah.
and but it's not like they're not paid well. They just think that they're not that they deserve more on top of like for some reason because like they're the it performer or and it's like
It's like we all do cool things. Calm down.
we all do cool things, and not for nothing, but there is no show without all of us because you're not a one
Hmm.
person show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have like two acts in the show. Calm down, So that'll be a way I'll see sometimes like a little diva will come out
Hmm.
in like a circus person, but
Hmm.
they will get checked by the person that booked them, and
Very
they'll be
quickly.
quiet,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah. When people come in with like, just immature attitudes like that, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
They get checked pretty quickly and they grow
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? Like
Hopefully, yeah.
yeah, they either grow up or they just don't succeed
Hmm.
in the field because everybody, like I said, circus world is small. All
Hmm.
the promoters talk to each other,
Hmm.
which is the same with bands. So
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't think that it's when a band gets a reputation for always being late, for being disruptive, for
Hmm.
starting fights, for doing
yep,
X,
yep.
Y, or Z,
Who wants to book that band?
you
Yeah.
It's a
definitely,
headache. I don't.
yeah, you just start to get less opportunities
I want
because
reliable and chill, and
yeah.
that's what we are,
Hmm.
Like you can't go wrong booking that.
So and I didn't realize the time on this. I've had you guys for here for quite a while. I'm sorry about that. Just
Oh,
gonna
no
give,
All
I'm
worries.
going to hit you with one more question. I'll let you go about your day because I got a lot of editing to do from this weekend's show. So unless you want to get on this one. So uh, as I've said, I love finding out about people, and we
Yeah,
can talk about music. That's very surface level. I'm sorry. I like to know about the people that make the music that I enjoy. That's my thing.
absolutely.
So everybody has a chapter in their life that changed the trajectory of everything that came after. You don't have to tell me what happened if it's personal, but if you have a chapter in your life that made a person, is there a chapter of your life that made you the person that's sitting in front of me right now?
Oh man, there's so many. I feel like I've lived like 5 different people's lives
I
sometimes.
get that. I understand that.
Uh,
Like,
because I've done I've had all these different, higher than high moments. I've
mhm,
had, you know, uh, lower than low moments. I think all of them together are what made me. But I can touch on some moments that really inspired me.
mhm,
I believe I think our first circus show um was really awesome
mhm,
because it was after a year and a half of like hardcore circus training.
mhm,
They had told us we could have performed sooner than that, and we were like, "No, you don't understand." Um, like we were already perform like because they were like, "Well, it's good to get like a performance under your belt just to get started." And we're like, "Yeah, but we were already performers before we started doing circus. We were already in a rock band and like
mhm,
had been performing for 4 years. You know what I
mhm.
mean? I'd been performing for even longer than that, but we had performed together
Oh,
for
I was
four
in the
years.
band before your band too,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
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 So, we've been performing for a long time already. And I was like, nah. They're like, sometimes when you get under the stage lights and
I
you could get nervous. And we're like,
Your adrenaline might
yeah,
be too much.
Been there,
okay,
done that.
I was like, do you not know me? Like, I know you know me. You know I came from music world. I came from the stage.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what are
Mhm,
you talking
mhm,
about? This is not my first time in front of anybody. Like, relax already.
I was like, guys,
Because
I
they kept
headlined at
saying
the
that.
I headlined at the original House of Blues in New Orleans with my old band. You know what I
Wow.
mean? We also headlined at Highline Ballroom. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I mean, we
mhm,
performed in front of a lot of people, so I wasn't like I was like, yeah, I was like, I understand that that's good information to give to somebody who's
mhm,
never performed in front of a lot of people before, but that's not what's stopping us. What's
mhm.
stopping us from performing is that it's not ready to our standard of performance.
Right.
So don't worry, we will perform, but it's going to be under, when we really feel ready.
Mm, mhm.
And when we did that, it was really cool because it was the first time my mom had ever seen me perform.
Oh, wow.
Um, and it was, and I could see that she was like very moved by the performance and she was proud of me. And I was just like, oh, and that was very different from what I had
Mhm,
experienced with music. You know what I
mhm,
mean? So it was nice to have an outlet that was that everybody could enjoy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
our style of music is
Interesting.
very specific, you know, it's very spooky, and some people are not down with that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
same with like
So
my family. Like my mom and everybody came to see like our first circus performance and stuff.
Mhm.
But like music wise, the only one who's ever really helped me forward is
Mhm.
my dad, because you know my mom is religious, and my music is just what it is, and that does not go with her, you know, standards of her like religion and stuff.
I
So
understand.
you know, she doesn't, you know, she's never even been to one of my shows, but I understand why she hasn't been
Mhm.
to one of my shows. But at the same time, it's just like, but you also like music. It's like, I wish I could share this thing with you, but like circus is kind of like a universally
yeah,
Mhm.
so it's
easily accepted thing because nobody has
Mhm.
any kind of feels any kind of way about it because it's just more about like achievements of the human body that seem impossible is kind of what circus is, you
yeah,
know?
circus is like something that is globally enjoyed by
Mhm.
everyone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like,
And
and
without language, it doesn't even matter what
it doesn't
language
even
you speak.
matter.
I can do my act any language in the world can enjoy it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And it's like, I think that for me, that was a very eye-opening experience, to know that I could be an artist, and I had a way of performing and sharing my artistry that was universally loved and enjoyed.
Mhm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that
Mhm.
was something really special and unique and different. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, art can also be this.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to always be a middle finger up to the rest of the
Yeah,
world. You
art
know
can
what I
take a
mean?
lot of
Like,
different forms
it
and
can
Yeah.
still
be,
feel enjoyable
y-
and fulfilling.
yeah, it doesn't have to
Mhm.
always be scary. It doesn't have to always be this. You know what I mean? Like,
But it doesn't mean I won't go back to
it
the
doesn't mean
scary
I won't
art.
do the spooky stuff.
'Cause, you know, it's like
'Cause
it just means I've expanded and I know how to share my artistry in more and
Yes.
multiple
yeah,
ways. It doesn't
Mhm.
yeah.
mean I give any of them up. It just means I have more ways to express it.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
feel
You
like
know?
that really opened me up. I mean, and circus in general, really, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my
Mhm.
life. Um, and it's something that took a lot of dedication, and it took a lot of believing in myself, especially as a person who, as a child, was very clumsy.
Mhm.
So uh, I was very much like not comfortable in my body. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I wasn't comfortable with movement, and I think that, going to circus school, I also had to train in ballet as
Mm.
well. In our circus school, that was actually mandatory, to take ballet, because it teaches you how to move your body in space in a graceful way,
Mhm.
and to hit
Lots
certain
of body
poses,
awareness.
and yeah, just
Yep.
a lot of body awareness, and knowledge of like where your head is at in relation to the rest of your body, and
Mhm.
where you are structurally, and being there in your body. It
Mhm.
was something that I had always strived to escape from when
Mhm.
I was a kid. Actually, I
Mhm.
was a heavy reader, and I would read up to, sometimes I would read the maximum amount of books that you could take out from the library, which was 22. I
Jesus.
That's how I learned that there was a
Mhm.
maximum. I didn't even know that there was a maximum until one day I decided to take out like it's just stupid amount of books, and they were like, "Yeah, that's too many books. You're gonna have to put some back. You can only take 22 books out at a time." And I was like, "Oh, okay," And I would literally just like be walking with like my face in a book, like just like I was everywhere, like dinner table, book. Everywhere I was, there was a book, and I wanted to be someplace else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I was constantly just going to other worlds
Mhm.
via my books.
Mm.
So it was a very interesting experience to come back to my body with
Mhm.
circus and be
Yeah.
like, no, like I need you to sit in here in your human body, and you're gonna learn how it does. You're gonna learn how it works. You're gonna learn where your body is in relation to stuff.
Feel it.
Yeah, and one of my biggest challenges in circus was not handstands, it was not splits, although splits were incredibly, incredibly painful, one of the most
Mhm.
painful things I've ever done. But even with that, it was more painful mentally to do ballet. It was more painful mentally because it's just like, oh, like I always just felt like I wasn't graceful enough. I
Mhm.
wasn't doing it right. I wasn't moving correctly. I would never achieve the level of daintiness delicateness and beauty as these other talented people,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
did learn, and it was very, very helpful, and it was definitely something that I needed, you
Yeah.
know? So I'm very thankful that I got pushed into all of these new ways of thinking and acting that really made me appreciate the body that I'm in,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that that definitely translated when we went back into music. I was a stronger singer,
Hmm.
actually. Even though I hadn't been singing, I was improving my cardiovascular
Mm.
abilities so
Hmm.
much that when I went back into singing, I realized I had become like this powerhouse. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, it was just through physical fitness, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because I had been doing music for a long time, but I would often, run into like, um,
Fatigue.
walls of fatigue with my voice
Hmm.
sometimes,
Yeah.
and that I couldn't get past before I joined the circus. So actually doing the circus and training my body the way that I did for all that time
That'll expand your gas tank.
greatly, greatly improved
Huh.
me. And it also improved me because I also started to focus on uh, vocal training, and I got all these different programs and stuff like that that I was working with to train my voice.
Hmm.
So that's why I can easily go from like singing to screaming,
Hmm.
and back again. I can do all these growls and these deep sounds and stuff.
Hmm.
I can access those very easily now, which I couldn't do before because I realized through circus training
Hmm.
how important it is to train things.
Hmm.
Because when you're just a dirty little rock and roll gremlin, you're not really like thinking about technique and all of these, grandiose
Right?
things.
Just do the
Um,
thing.
I had trained in music before I started a band in piano. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So I had some musical knowledge,
Hmm.
but I didn't really have much vocal training beyond like being in like a glee club or something
Hmm.
like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, and I think that because I experienced training in circus and experienced what the benefits are of
Hmm.
having somebody teach you these things, like, hey, sure, your natural ability can take you X amount, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? But there were plenty of people who had more natural ability than I did
Hmm.
that had come into classes of ours to train in the things that we ended up excelling in. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But we excelled through just
Oh,
hard work
I
and digging in.
I straight up outworked people there.
Yeah,
It was like, you're talented, but my work ethic will and did surpass people because
Hmm.
it was like you couldn't stop me at that. I was so focused at that time,
yeah.
that
And we
it was
saw it
like,
happen over and over again. We saw
mhm,
people come in and out of our classes that displayed just immense natural ability due to
Hmm.
other things that they had trained in, and they had it. They had it. I'm like,
mhm,
you have this talent
Hmm.
already. And if you just keep going, you can surpass me so quickly and easily. And then they just lost interest and they left to the next thing.
yeah,
And I was like, "But you had it. What are you talking about? You had it." So it
But
right.
really made me
like you said,
totally change
natural
my way
natural
of thinking.
ability will get you so far. But if you don't
Yeah,
have the ambition, if you have someone who's naturally, hey, I'm good at this, but you have someone, I want to do that, that person 8 out of 10 times is going to surpass the natural ability
yep,
because having the passion versus having the ability. Now, if you have the passion and ability, you're unstoppable. You're a juggernaut.
yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
But
agreed.
if you're determined to get to that point, and someone else is like, "Oh, hey, I can do that," okay, where the achievement isn't as fruitful for them, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah,
But I get it. Trust me, I get it. But
yeah. So
I
I
just,
think I think all of that really made me totally go about music in a very
hmm.
different way when I went back to it.
Hmm.
I think that was a big turning point for me because I realized, that if you really want to succeed in something and if you really want to do something well, then there's a certain level of education in that thing that is going to be really beneficial for you. So I
Hmm.
thought, okay, what are the things that I don't know how to do that I've always been told I couldn't do? And
Hmm.
I'm the kind of person that you should never tell me that I can't do something, because then I'm gonna do it out of spite, you know? Like I'm just gonna like my level of spite is so high. So I definitely feel like, you know, it's happened more than once.
I was just going to intro and be like, "Oh, really? Well, you can't make lasagna." I don't know what you're talking about.
I know somebody's having lasagna for dinner now. So.
So there
A
were
little jealous.
definitely parts of like music that I thought that I was not capable of doing, because I had had toxic musical partners that had made me believe that that was the case. They were like, "Oh, well, I have to handle this because you can't do this." And so I was like, "Is that really true though? Is it though?" You know what I mean? Like I was like, "Is it really true though that that is the case?" I have found that I can do all kinds of things. So who says that I can't learn MIDI? Who says I can't do my own drum programming? Who says I can't learn video editing? And now here we are, we've like edited our own music videos. Who says I can't shoot my own video and direct my own video and make my own movie monsters? Well, here it goes. Here I am at it again.
There's three things in this world I cannot do. I cannot do plumbing, I cannot do electrical work, and I cannot bear children. Those are the three things I can't do. I can figure out everything else. I'll figure it out, you know, but those three things, no, I'll leave those up to everybody else.
Yeah.
So, but I totally get it, guys. And just out of curiosity, so you have, I'm sorry, I forgot. I don't see it in my notes. How many CDs do you guys have out now?
We just have the one CD out,
and then we have like three singles,
and then not three. So we have the one main CD out, and then like a year or two after, we released the Boogeyman.
Oh yeah,
and the Boogeyman also came with a remix from Angel Spit, which is yeah. And then this past February for Valentine's Day, we released a new single that will be on this next coming album that we're working on right now.
Awesome.
And that one will be My Valentine, that we released in March of this year for Valentine's Day.
Awesome.
So it was a while, and I was like, I want to get something out now. So we got that out just to have like some kind of new something, because it's just been too long. And now we're just like back in the lab, and I've just been writing a lot, and writing a lot of guitar and drums, and just trying to get like some really cool stuff together, and passing them over and seeing what the band thinks, if I should move forward or not. And you know, but we got like a handful now. So I'm really happy. I think we only need several more, and we'll probably be wrapping and moving into the recording phase.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. When you're getting ready to release the next one, hit me up again. We'll definitely do another interview, promote it, and get you guys some more circulation and whatnot to get you guys down here to Cleveland area. I would love to be able to come and hang out with you guys and shoot a show. Honestly.
Absolutely. I actually have a lot of family over in Cleveland. Go Cleveland.
So yeah, honestly, anything I can do to help you guys get down this way, that'd be fantastic. I would love to come up to New York at some point.
Rock nights or parties or anything that you would like recommend us to play out there?
In Cleveland area, there's so many places. There's
okay, cool.
Awesome. Yeah, he'll hit us up with a list. I'm sure.
Yeah, there is literally I can probably name off at least 11 or 12 places in Cleveland. Plus I live just south, so I'm south of Cleveland by about an hour. And then there's Akron, which also has 3 or 4 places, a new place that's really starting to really heat up. There's Youngstown that has a couple venues, Pittsburgh. And then I don't go to Erie very often, but I know there's some places up there on the way to Cleveland. But Cleveland's a big hub for you. Would be a big hub for you guys.
Cool.
And
awesome. You sound like the person to talk to. You have a lot of knowledge about the area. That's great.
Well, it makes sense
I talk to a lot of people
over there for a long time. So
I shoot a lot of shows. I work with, and the thing is, I love shooting larger bands. Don't get me wrong. I love hitting the bigger venues and stuff, but my love comes for the smaller venues.
I gotta say, I agree with you. I was telling Rose, I'm like, so say we blow up to like big status. I do not want to neglect smaller venues just because we can sell a bigger venue, because there's something special about the smaller venues to me personally.
For sure.
Like I don't ever want to stop playing them totally. You know what I mean? Like something that was really special to me, like a long time ago, here in New York City, was when one time we had System of a Down come and play Irving Plaza, which is not a venue they should be playing. It only holds like 500 people. They should not have been playing that venue, but they did anyway. I was like, yes. And then Korn came like a year or two before that, and they played CBGB before it shut down. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Go back to the small ones sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I don't know, there's something special about it, like the energy in there with those tight-knit group of people. It's like you can't beat that and you can't replicate it in a big stadium.
Like you guys were talking about the pop stars making it huge and everything, and more power to them. Not my cup of tea, but like I love to go to these smaller clubs. Now, as a photographer, it sucks. Not gonna lie, because they don't have the money or the budget for premier lighting like the House of Blues or the Agora or Blossom. They don't have it. So it's more of a challenge for me. But at the same time, I leave there not as just as a photographer, but as a music lover. I just went to church, man. I mean, I feel invigorated. I feel happy that I was able to share that moment with such a small knit of people.
Yeah.
And on top of it, not to sound rude, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but like watching high school football versus going and watching an NFL game. Those kids are paying because they're playing because they love what they do. And the bigger names playing Blossom, playing House of Blues, they're getting paid a pretty penny to be there. So yeah, I'm not saying they don't love what they're doing, but at the same time, they don't. I just feel like sometimes some of them have lost the passion and are more going through the motions.
Yeah, I
not trying to be rude. I'm just pointing out.
I understand what you're saying though, without like being rude. Like the passion, like sometimes I feel can be greater. Like there's so much. They're in the height of their hungry stage of like, no, I want it more than anything in life, you know. And not to say that the person down the line doesn't still feel that way, but you know, they've gotten to taste a little bit of it, so it's just not going to be the same type of drive from somebody trying to make it and somebody who's already arrived, you know.
And that's why I said, you know, it was both good and bad for me researching for this interview about you guys. One, there wasn't much out there. There was very little. There was some whispers and stuff and some noise about Boogeyman, which I forgot to bring up. I'm sorry about that. But I was very excited about this because it's like maybe somebody's going to see you guys. I'll get some exposure to you guys down here because I have a lot of PR people, I have a lot of club people and stuff that are in my circle, and I'm always hitting them up. Hey, I talked to this band. Hey, I just found out about this band. These guys are brand new. Have you heard about these guys yet? So I'm not expecting anything, but at the same time, I'm always trying to help everybody. Know, right? I'm always trying to help everybody because the way I feel about it is if I take pictures of somebody or I do an interview that gets them noticed, maybe if they go on a ride, they'll be like, hey, this guy helped me. Let me help him. If we all work together, we all rise together.
If nothing even came out of this, but we got to meet you and you're really passionate about our music, then that still made my day. You know?
Exactly.
Because like I wrote this stuff myself in my bedroom, trying to share what I'm passionate about, and for it to connect with somebody. I mean, what better can you ask for? Even if it doesn't reach anybody else, it's already mission accomplished because it reached you. You know?
Like I said, man, I saw your guys' video pop up in my feed. Hey, is this suggested video? Oh, okay. Thumbnail was like, oh, that looks interesting. Click. 20 seconds in, I was, like I said, I was face first down that rabbit hole, dude. And that's why I reached out to.
What video was that? What was the imagery in that? What was it, like a white ghost lady?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, lights out. Okay, lights out. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I just had you up. I pulled you up on Spotify. I've been jamming out to it, and my wife likes a very different genre of music. There's a couple of songs that she'll tolerate, but we listen to. She tolerates my music here and there, but I know not to play it around her because it's not going to be her cup of tea. But when she's not in the truck with me, I'm just jamming out. And so you guys have been on repeat for a while now, for a few days.
Awesome.
And so
the songs, the what's it called? Be My Valentine is not on Spotify.
Yeah, because we object to what they're doing and how they're contributing to this messed up war, and like, how they're disenfranchising artists and stuff.
So
So
I'm like, the stuff that's up there is up there, but I feel like at least at the moment, new music will not be put on there going forward, at least for right now. So we do like, you've heard Boogeyman, and we do have a remix. And I don't know if you have heard our song "Be My Valentine," but you can check that out on our YouTube, because whole video and whole new character for her and everything, but just that is not on Spotify, and moving forward, a lot of things probably won't be there, at least for the time being.
So just keep you guys on YouTube. I did subscribe to your channel, I believe. Pretty sure I did.
Oh, cool.
If I didn't, I will make sure I do.
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 music videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's
why we also going back to talking about like live shows and stuff, and like at small places versus big places. That's why we did the live video for Slash 'Em Up. Was because we wanted to show people like, hey, here's our shows at all different scales. Some of them are like in little dive bars. Some of them are like with a beautiful like animated whole video screen behind us and stuff like that. That's when we did the Unconvention in New Jersey, which is like a big goth like convention stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I loved the idea of having like a mix of like, just letting people have a peek into our world. And even if you live far away and you might not get a chance to see us live, this is what we're like live, and like we're just really fun and like lively, and we jump around a lot, and we have crazy costumes, and we try to have a really good time.
And like I said, that's the theatrics is what got me into you guys. I mean, the music's good, but like I said, you entertained me, and that I will go for every day of the week. So
Same. I feel you. I'm that kind of guy also.
Very awesome, guys. I really appreciate your time today. I really do. I'll make sure to hit you guys a link on YouTube when I post this and everything. I'm also going to be posting it on Unrated Magazine as well. And like I said,
and if you post on YouTube, maybe hit us with a collab. Invite, so we can like share it
to our channel also.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We have a decent amount of fans on there nowadays.
Yeah, like 950 and almost at that 1,000.
Trying to get there, man.
Awesome. So we all start at zero, man. We all start at zero.
I'm saying, right?
Very cool, guys. I really appreciate it today, and then I will be in touch. I definitely gotta get one of your CDs, and I gotta have you guys sign it for me. I will definitely be getting that ordered. So I really appreciate your time today, guys. Thank you very much. And
yeah, thanks for having us.
When you're getting ready to drop it down, we dropped a new one. Okay, we'll do this again, especially for any tour announcements.
Heck all yeah!
Right. All right. See you later, guys.
All right. Take care.
Rock on.
All right.